All right, thanks to everybody that came out to Fan Day on Sunday. It was a good time. It's fun to see our kids interact with our fans. It's great to get a chance to meet many of them. We're back on the practice field today after our second scrimmage and then a recovery day. We've got another shorter block here. We'll go 3 days and then have another scrimmage, which will be our last one before we open up at Boston College. Lots to work on. I mean, on both sides of the ball and in the kicking game, we'll start to move this week into some crossover work in the kicking game, which will be good for us. We've got just a tremendous amount of ground to cover here before we're game ready, but I'm excited about the way things are progressing. I don't have any update on Brock either, just off the top. I don't know if you asked Vance already, but I don't have anything. So.
Raise your hands. We'll get you the mic.
Quarterback situation still status quo? Are you ready to name a starter? And if not, what do you need left here after you've already scrimmaged twice to kind of see from the quarterbacks?
Well, I think Ryan and Hendon are the the two guys right now taking most of the reps with the ones. We'll continue to evaluate that and see how it goes. I will say this. I've been really impressed by Hendon and the work he put in this summer. He continues to improve. Ryan's had a good camp as well. So we'll continue to look at it and get through the last scrimmage and see where we're at.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm hanging in. Just talk a little bit about, how proud are you just seeing this team really come together and just, build this family that we hear so much about? I mean, how proud are you as a coach just seeing that?
Oh, I really enjoy watching them interact. I'm proud of course, we've got vested relationships with these guys and are enjoying coaching them. And I think, they've been through adversity, and that can do one of two things, right? When you go through hard times, it either separates you or brings you closer together. And I think it's definitely brought those kids closer together. It happened not to us but for us, and it's been fun to watch how they've responded throughout the off season and now into fall camp.
Kind of on that topic, there was a Sports Illustrated article that just came out detailing how some of those guys have fought through that adversity. I want to ask you a couple things about that. First off, the players complaining about excessive workouts. The article indicated that you've tailored off-season workouts. What did you see? Did you agree? Was it just...
Well, I haven't read the article. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, we did the same off-season that we've done for the last however many years. So I haven't read the article. I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's fine. So no off-season workouts were tempered after you guys met and talked about?
No, we did the same calendar that we've done. I mean, we change it every year based on the calendar. So.
And then the headline of the article is that some players on the team probably were gone, wanted to lose.
This year. Let's go to this year. Okay, I haven't read the article. I don't want to talk about it. Like, I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's well written. I'm sure it's fantastic, but this year. We're moving to this year.
In the 2 weeks since Bud has announced his intentions, have you seen a change in his approach? Is he more of a hard ass? Is he the softer, kinder, gentler Bud out there? Or does it seem to affect him? Does he joke about it at all? Do people come up and rib him about being an old man? Or is it full speed ahead, normal Bud?
I have not seen one iota of difference. I haven't seen one reference. I'm talking about within we're in the pretty sheltered part of our lives right now. Like you get up early and you go work on football. But I haven't heard or seen anything. I haven't heard a joke. I haven't seen anything different. Is Bud talking today, or has he already talked? Okay. Like, I don't know if he feels better about it. I don't know. Like, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I haven't seen anything.
That seems like it surprises you a little bit. Maybe somebody might have come up to him and ripped him about it.
Well, I don't know. Like, I think, like I go back to the very first thing that Bud said in the press conference is he wants it to be about the football team, and I think we're all trying to respect those wishes. And there'll be time as we move through, but I think there's a general focus on what we're trying to accomplish right now, and I just haven't. I'd be interested to hear what Bud says, to be honest with you, because I haven't brought it up, and it hasn't been a topic of discussion.
Justin, we're still a couple away. I'm sure we'll get close when we get closer to the game. We'll talk more about Dylan and all the challenges he poses. But just in general, how do you feel about your run defense as compared to last year's run defense, and what needs to be better with it, and what do you think will be better with it?
Well, I mean, first of all, just defense in general. Talking about heading into a season last year where, at every position you're going to play people with little or no experience. I mean, it doesn't mean you don't have Ricky Walker, you do, but really the defensive line, linebacker, safety, corner, we're going to play people with little or no experience. Well, this year, just heading into the year before we even practice, we know that heading into it that it's really only one spot, that we know that we'll have to play some young or inexperienced people at defensive tackle. So that makes you feel better already right off the top. But I do think there's a feeling of comfort. We've got to stay healthy, and we've got to continue to develop the second and third teams, but a comfort with scheme. Like, we're not doing things for the first time. Like, there's a bunch of guys doing things for the first time 365 days ago on that defense. So you can see some overall understanding and just letting them play faster and with more savvy and with more in-depth knowledge of what's going on, as opposed to just trying to be right. I don't know if that makes sense, but so I feel much better.
I know we asked about punt return earlier. I don't think we've asked about kick returner at all. Who's been working there, and what do you kind of see at that position?
Let me see here. We have worked Caleb and Terrius. Deshaun has taken reps back there. I think Nadir Thompson's taken some. Jaden Payute's taken some. Tavion's taken some. We've repped several guys through there. We do have some guys that I think were pretty productive. Terrius was productive when he was healthy last year at kickoff returner. Caleb had some opportunities for some big plays. I don't know how it's all going to shake out until one separates themselves in a game. I don't know exactly. Keyshawn's been back there a little bit. That's the other one. There may be another guy or two that have taken reps. But we will have a kicking scrimmage here in a few days, and hopefully get a couple specific reps for a couple guys, and then maybe have that pared down a little bit more.
Also, it sounds like Colbeck had something with his shoulders that
Yes,
keep him out for a
collarbone.
while. Is that a long-term thing?
Yeah, I don't know how long exactly, but certainly for the immediate future.
Couple more.
You talked last year about the redshirt rule and how you had a whole season-long process of evaluating that as you go week by week. You've got a year under your belt with that new rule. Is that staying the same, or have you tweaked some things when it comes to looking at freshmen that may or may not redshirt as you go through?
Yeah, I do think it's a good rule. It does, you do have to put some thought into what you're doing. You can't put it on autopilot as the season goes along. You have to continue to have those conversations, particularly with special teams. It helped us last year, quite honestly, with as thin as we were, to be able to play guys like Armani Chapman, but them still get to redshirt. That was huge for us and for Armani. Same thing happened with Nadir. Even though he got hurt, he was playing. So it's a good rule. We'll continue to evaluate how we use them. It seems to me, in general terms, like it's assuming you don't have a disaster where you lose several guys at one position, but just the general maintenance of your team, it's mostly surrounded around the quarterback position, and then all those guys that cover kicks and play on special teams, the defensive backs, the linebackers, some of your wide receivers, which I think is going to be good in the long run for those guys.
Last one, Nolan.
We've heard quite a bit about Tavion, and we talked some, I guess, about Elijah and a lot of the receivers. Talked a little bit about Doug Nestor today. I know there's some guys on the defensive side, J.R. Walker, that maybe have gotten a lot of looks. I don't know if they're – I know you're only 2 weeks into the camp, but I don't know if there's anybody out of the true freshmen that you've looked at or Brad's looked at or Bud's looked at and said, that dude has got to get on the field in some capacity this year. And I know it's different now with the 4 games. You get to mess around.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little more I'm always hesitant is I don't want to leave somebody out. You know what I mean? But, I think Bud's going to talk about Alan Tisdale a little bit today. Alan's not a true freshman. I am going to answer your question, but I've been really impressed with him. He's really come on strong and doing a really, really good job for us. I'm excited about what he can be. But certainly those 3 freshman defensive tackles have shown flashes of what we'd hoped and need, quite honestly, them to be. And I'm not sure how that's all going to shake out with all 3 of them, but they've all shown to be capable, and they cause you to get excited about that in the same way that Doug and Hudson are, kind of advanced for their age, so to speak. It's not very often you talk about that on the offensive and defensive linemen, but those 5 guys are pretty far along. I don't know how it'll all work out, but in some shape or form in those 5 guys, I would anticipate seeing some of them. Tavion, certainly. Nick Gallo is another one that seems to just pick things up incredibly easy. Anyway, he's really smart. He has been slowed a little bit during camp, but he's making his way back, and I anticipate that development to continue. Keyshawn, I'm sure we've talked about a little bit. JR, is you mentioned, is a guy that continues to do good things, and I think has a chance to really help this football team some way.